When we use the term instant regret in the social media game, in the YouTube games, this is exactly the example we're looking for.
Imagine a resentful sports veteran arguing with a child who is less than half your age. Sheryl Swoopes is old enough to have given birth to Caitlin Clark, but that didn't stop her from being a fervent critic. During Caitlin's college years, Swoopes consistently minimized the young superstar's accomplishments, but now that Caitlin has set the league on fire for an entire rookie season, Swoopes has been forced to eat turd.
So will Caitlin Clark be a good pro? Absolutely. Will Caitlin Clark come into the WNBA and do what she's doing right now? Immediately? Absolutely not. Not gonna happen.
Okay. Not on the right team.
The correct team, let's go back in time. Sheryl Swoopes, a WNBA legend, had the opportunity to be regarded as one of the greatest of all time. Instead, she decided to be the sour old gatekeeper, the kind of former star who feels uncomfortable when she sees fresh talent emerging.
Shiznit to say this Sheryl Swoopes got absolutely decimated, obliterated, ravaged, wrecked. I mean, whatever you want to use to describe it, holy crap.
Swoopes wasn't celebrating the expansion of women's basketball when Caitlin Clark was setting records in college. Rather, she was occupied with making passive-aggressive remarks that cast doubt on her skills and implied that she wasn't as good as the media claimed. This was jealousy in its purest form, and everyone could see it. When Caitlin Clark joined the WNBA, if Swoopes believed Clark's dominance was over, she had another thing coming.
And your first WNBA game, was it everything you expected it to be? I know it wasn't the outcome you wanted, but tell us, how did you feel about your first performance?
Yeah, I thought we played really hard. Just a great atmosphere for women's basketball. I think it's a good kickoff to the WNBA season.
When Caitlin Clark onto the court for the WNBA, attendance records were broken, ticket sales soared, and goods flew off the shelves. After years of fighting for popular recognition, the WNBA finally got its big break.
Coming into the game. Logo! Clark launches, nails it.
But Sheryl Swoopes couldn't stand it. Rather than welcoming the league's new megastar, she intensified her resentment at every opportunity and made subtle jabs at Caitlin, refusing to recognize her influence. However, reality has a way of making people humble.
Average, how many times a day do you think about Caitlin Clark? She's living in your head rent-free, I hear. What was the most creative insult you came up with when abusing your players? Woo! As we know, she got in a bit of a bind and some trouble years and years ago involving some players when she was a coach. Were you more of a Bobby Knight style player abuser, or did you use the more Mike Rice model? Yikes. Yikes. Oh my God.
Not only was Caitlin a rookie, but she was the one who guided her team to victory after victory, hushed detractors with her indisputable brilliance, and now for the worst part. At first, many WNBA veterans were resistant to Caitlin's rise, feeling they had been ignored for years. However, as the season went on, Caitlin earned their respect not only with her play, but also with her humility and unwavering work ethic. WNBA players who had previously echoed Swoopes and dismissive tones started to change their tune after realizing the money Caitlin was bringing in and the growth she was responsible for. Suddenly, they weren't as eager to side with Swoopes anymore.
Caitlin hit it! Today, with plantar fasciitis, but her team is beating Indiana, and that's...
As more and more celebrities began to support Clark, wanting to play with her, learn from her, and join the wave she was starting, Swoopes found herself on an island of insignificance. The WNBA is a business, and teams want players who attract fans, sell jerseys, and add excitement to the game. Businesses don't have time for haters, and Caitlin Clark achieves all of that with ease before swooping on the other and dishing nothing but venom.
Caitlin for her 25th birthday, question mark. That's really good. What motivates you to come up with different reasons to find faults in Caitlin Clark's game? Question mark. This could be my favorite because, scissoring or strap-on? Question mark. Oh, my God. Who told or taught you black people can't be racist? Oh, God. This did not go well. You should ask her to explain the reason why she was fired as a college coach for abusing girls. Holy moly.
Then the worst humiliation arrived. Once a respected voice in the basketball world, Sheryl Swoopes was fired and discarded like yesterday's news because her negativity finally caught up with her. No NBA team, media outlet, or organization wanted to be associated with someone whose biggest contribution to the conversation was discrediting the league's biggest star. When you spend all of your time disparaging someone who is improving the game, you become irrelevant, and that's exactly what happened to Swoopes. Her legacy was tarnished. Rather than being remembered as a pioneer, she will be remembered as the resentful former player who couldn't handle the rise of the next great one.
Her over it. Said she literally called her and said, "You got to fix this. You went on there and just lied your ass off."
Hear from Nancy herself.
I got off the treadmill and I called her as a friend and I said, you can say whatever you want. You can have your own opinion about anybody, but you do have to get the statistics right. I mean, facts matter. And if you just get ahead of this and just say, hey, I made a mistake on my numbers, then this thing is over and everybody respects you for your opinion. And, you might like Boston, I might like the Yankees. It's okay to have difference of opinions. Well, she got upset with me on the phone and I was like, Sheryl, I'm not doing anything to hurt you. I'm just sharing. We're talking. And so our relationship it pretty much is not happening at this point. I tried to talk to her at the Final Four. Right. She didn't want to talk to me. My life's going to be good or great with or without Sheryl Swoopes in my life. I'd rather have her.
Swoopes was eating excrement out here. At the end of the day, this was a battle between bitterness and brilliance. Brilliant Swoopes had a chance to uplift the game to mentor Caitlin to be a champion for the future of women's basketball, but she chose envy, and it cost her everything. Meanwhile, Caitlin Clark is just getting started with every shot she makes, every record she breaks, and every fan she brings in. She proves that her greatness isn't up for debate, and as for sure, Sheryl Swoopes well. Enjoy that turd sandwich you did, Sheryl. The plain fact is that Caitlin has impacted the WNBA more in a single season than you have in your whole career, and that must hurt.
The screen, the three-pointer is good.
That's going to be what, if they can get back into this game, it's going to be grabbing those boards, getting some second chance opportunities. Clark gets herself free.
Sheryl, let's be honest. Despite all of your accolades and the years you spent in the league, the WNBA was still struggling for relevance. It was still fighting for an audience, still begging for attention, still fighting to keep teams financially afloat, and then Caitlin Clark came along and did what you and your generation of players could never do. On paper, you were a great player in your time, winning 3 MVPs, multiple championships, and being inducted into the Hall of Fame. However, the thing is that legacies aren't just based on stats. They're built on influence, on the ability to move the needle to grow the game, to make people care. That's where you fall short.
Hits a three!
Since the Marina Mabry trade, and she has stepped up her game in that opportunity. Caitlin Clark for 3, rattles it around for her first deep.
You could never say that about yourself because Caitlin Clark did more than just join the WNBA. She revolutionized it. She did more than just play basketball. She made the world watch. Sheryl TV ratings are skyrocketing, and people who didn't care about the WNBA are now tuning in just to watch Caitlin Clark play. Additionally, merchandise is selling out everywhere. Her jerseys set records before she even played her first game, and record-breaking teams are relocating their games to larger arenas to meet the demand for Caitlin Clark. Additionally, sponsorships are flooding in at record numbers, with businesses throwing money at the WNBA like never before. The harsh reality is that your tenure in the WNBA didn't advance the sport. It existed and survived, but it never flourished. Caitlin made it. Sheryl, empty arenas, games played in front of thousands of empty seats, no national buzz, no significant financial growth thrive.
Seeing them.
Clark from way downtown carries it.
Really get involved more on the offensive end.
3 players in double figures. Clark again with another 3.
Another distinction, Sheryl, yes. You are respected, but Caitlin, she is the reason young girls are picking up basketballs, and she is the reason casual fans are suddenly interested in attending events because Caitlin makes the game exciting and enjoyable. She makes it seem like it doesn't matter if you played, won, or collected your awards. That's what really bothers you, isn't it, Sheryl? Your entire legacy has already been eclipsed by Caitlin Clark. The history books will eternally remember Caitlin Clark as the player who transformed the WNBA, leaving you as a footnote, one of those past greats who simply couldn't handle the new age. Her contribution is clear, while yours is forgotten.
For people to come at me and say that I made those comments because I'm a racist, like, first of all, black people can't be racist, but like, that's the farthest thing from my mind. Like, I grew up in a very small West Texas town, predominantly white. My best childhood friend is white, went to predominantly white college, won a national championship. Pretty much everyone on the team was white. Like, we're sisters to this day. Like that's not a part of my DNA. I have, like, no issues with Caitlin. Her breaking the record, I think, obviously is a tremendous accomplishment. But I think what Caitlin has done for not just college basketball, but for women's basketball, period, I think has been great. The following, people watching the game, sellouts, that.
And worst of all, you might have accepted yourself instead of doing this to yourself. You had the opportunity to be a part of the moment, but instead you decided to be resentful and are now obsolete. So what are you doing as Caitlin Clark continues to set records, make millions, and inspire the next generation? Sheryl, enjoy that view from the sidelines. That's your permanent seat now, while watching a league that is now flourishing because of the player you've been detesting for so long.
Angel will eventually be a good pro. I don't think Angel will come into the league immediately and dominate the way people think she will. And I say that for people who have never watched the WNBA game. It's good. Like, there's talent. Like, these women can play. And because there are very few roster spots. Like, it's a real job. So people look at new players coming in, whether that's out of college, players who've been overseas, and they look at that and say, oh, you trying to come take my job. Like, nah, it's not gonna be that easy.
Sheryl, let's be honest. You were a fantastic player in your day, but basketball has changed, and you know deep down that Caitlin Clark plays at a level you never even approached. You had your moment, but your game was never as polished, dynamic, or thrilling as Caitlin's. So instead of acknowledging greatness, you decided to become a critical person. You see how Caitlin Clark dominates the game, how she makes three-pointers from a distance you wouldn't even dare try, and how she threads impossible passes with pinpoint accuracy, and it consumes you. While you're mired in nostalgia for a time when the WNBA hardly existed, Caitlin is transcendent. She's reinventing the game. For this reason, you've sided with Angel Reese, not because she's the game's future or an unstoppable force, but because she's not Caitlin Clark. Although Angel is nice, she isn't really good, because she lacks the technical ability to dominate as Caitlin does. She is an energy player and hustler who thrives on physicality.
To give Caitlin Clark her flowers, yes, I said that.
Oh my God!
No. But, and I'm not gonna put it together. I'm gonna give Caitlin her flowers because I think what she has done coming into this league absolutely has brought more eyes, whether you like them or not, but has brought more eyes, more marketing. People just want to watch the game and they want to talk about it. Even those that don't know anything about it, they talk about it. And I'm not going to give Caitlin her flowers without giving you your flowers.
Thank you.
And I heard you gave me my flowers.
You now keep that type of company. Sheryl, you support the less skilled players who lack the innate ability to let their games speak for themselves and must instead rely on aggressiveness and antics. You support Angel Reese because you find a reflection of yourself in someone who will never be the game's face and who will never have Caitlin's influence.
take away from this game? Besides the fact that you guys didn't walk out of here with a W, what do you take away from this game that you want to improve on moving forward?
I think just the little things. I think knowing when to push in transition and knowing when to slow up and run our offense a little bit better. I think overall our defense was pretty good. I thought we could have gotten better in some areas. I thought we could have passed the ball a little bit better, but overall, a lot to learn from. These are good learning experiences for us. This doesn't count. Go back and watch the film. Film doesn't lie, and learn from that.
All right, thanks. Good luck the rest of the season.